everyone. Welcome to the Marketing Drip, where we drip tips to scale your business digitally. Abby here, and the topic today is specific for my practice owners out there that are in transition or out of a practice. I talked with Mike, the managing partner of Blackstone Building Group here in Florida. Mike has helped lead Blackstone Building Group's expansion into the Florida market back in 2020. Before joining the Blackstone Building Group team, Mike actually spent nearly 20 years in both medical device and pharmaceutical sales management. So his years of experience in the medical industry has proven to be a huge asset in the healthcare design and build space. Mike brings leadership, enthusiasm, determination, and years of business development success to the Florida market. I'm really excited for you guys to hear today's episode. So let's go ahead and begin today's drip, provided by Digital Resource, a full-service digital marketing agency that is your resource for everything digital. Hey, Mike, thank you so much for joining us today and dripping on some knowledge. I'm so excited to pick your brain. So thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. And I really want to talk about your understanding everything when it comes to construction, when it comes to really making sure that you're having the right building, the next new home, if you will, for your place of business. So anyone that's out there building a new practice, what should they consider or know before even reaching out to their contractors?
Well, it's a great question. I think most importantly is they should know what their goals are and who, what, where, when, why, and how. So, who they want on their team, building a good support system around them. Obviously a great GC like Blackstone Building Group. Then also, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Their IT, their equipment, company. So those are all the things they really want to get together as far as what type of location, where, what kind of timeline, what their budget is. So, and that's the thing about Blackstone Building Group is that we could really help establish the client to really think about those things and help them along with those goals. So.
Yeah, that's what's really nice. It's more more of a consultative approach, right? Like you're going to be talking through it. You're going to understand, because that can be really overwhelming. You want to build your own practice. You don't want to take over something else. You want to create your own from scratch. That can be a lot to process. There's a lot of moving parts.
It's easy until you start it. Yeah. It's easy until you get into it and have all these things to think about. So that's where, we make it nice and easy and try to, be there and, form a great relationship with the client.
Yeah. Understanding people that know what to expect. So then you're not alone and you can trust them and really build upon it and collaborate that way. But take that first step, essentially. Just do it.
Know your goals for sure.
Know your goals. Yep. I love that. And that's stuff that we always talk about too. You need to just understand, okay, what's your next plan within the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, year, 5 years? Like how is this going to all come into play to making sure you have that understanding? Which kind of leads me into the next one as far as when should new business owners meet with a construction company? Like when should they start talking to you?
I would say as soon as possible. Ideally, they probably want to reach out while they're going through either they're purchasing a site or they're, going to be leasing. This way we could come in and do a site analysis and see exactly what they're looking at. There's all different types of buildings, whether it's going to be a renovation or whether it's going to be a new build out. So we come in, do a thorough site analysis, see what type of project it's going to be, evaluate all the different aspects of it. And again, that's where we could really help from that consultative approach, like you had just mentioned, get them with our architect and, get them with our design team. And we have a whole dedicated team that is there to help the client. So all those things where they have to hire an architect and hire a GC and hire, everybody, we're there to help them out throughout the whole entire process.
That's so nice. You're their guide, right? Exactly. We're just going to guide you through this process so you don't have to be overwhelmed.
Help make the vision come true, right?
Yeah, because that's usually the easy part, right? Is kind of seeing what you want, but then it's how do I make this happen? How do I know who to trust and how to go to? And are those people going to work together? That's got to be a little tricky too of, all those different parties being involved, how are they going to collaborate if I pick them all by myself?
Right. So and just
And
really help create that vision and help them understand what their project's going to look like. So.
And what do you think as far as like you talked about an analysis? What all entails of that? Like what goes into that? Of what, I guess, what information are they going to get when they kind of start that initial?
Right. So no, it's actually a really great question, because there's some sites that are, a gray shell and there's nothing in there, and so they're bringing all the electric in, or the plumbing, and if it's a building that was built back in the 80s, we have to see what types of existing conditions are there. So helping the client understand exactly what's going to be involved in the project. Sometimes it might be like, whoa, I didn't expect this to be this much work in this building. So, it will give them that support where they could go in and figure out whether or not that's the ideal location for them and they could achieve their goals there. And then obviously having that support with our, dedicated team to, let them know exactly what's going to be involved within the project.
I love that, because nothing's more intimidating than like envisioning something and thinking it's going to be grand. Like, oh, I want a skylight or like, I want all this stuff.
Right.
And then it's like, well, you do know XYZ comes into play if you want this feature. I don't need it that bad.
Right. Well, they want the truth.
Now that we're talking about it.
Right. They want the truth, and they want to build a relationship and trust, and, be able to be surrounded with people that know, exactly what they're looking at, and give the ideal, situation as far as what's going to go into the actual project.
Yeah. I love that. And you mentioned this earlier too, having all that in-house is so key. I mean, being able to have every aspect of the build incorporated within the plan is crucial. So you guys you said an architect, interior designers. Like, how does that benefit the customers then if they have everybody on the team?
Right. Well,
under one roof.
That's a great question. And with design builds, we're a one-stop shop. Again, it can become an overwhelming type of situation where somebody has to come in and they got to find an architect, and they got to find a designer, they got to find a GC. Well, we have a team that communication is such an important thing, especially in a project like this. So, creating a budgeted scope, being able to take a client's plans and being able to build it around, exactly what they're looking for to achieve their goals. Being able to communicate while the project is going on. So if there's a revision that needs to be made, or a question by another contractor, you don't have to wait a day or two to get an answer. We get those answers right away. So I'd be the single point of contact on most of the projects. And, again, it's being able to have access to the architect and have access to the interior designer, who does a great job in creating a beautiful design deck, because you think it's easy to decorate a practice until you actually go, oh my God, I got to, pick out a floor and paint colors and wall features and, ceiling, features. So, that's something that we can make it an easier process. And again, everybody's communicating with one another, and it helps save time ultimately.
Even like if you say, I want it to be pink, it's like, well, there's all these shades of pink, and like finding the right one. And but that is key. Yeah.
Go for it. Let's do it. Yep.
And that is key to, you're very right. The communication aspect, because if you only hire an interior designer, if you only hire a GC, and then you're the one communicating with all them, typically practices, and maybe this is different, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's practices that they're probably an associate somewhere else. They're probably working somewhere else. So they're creating their new business. They're trying to do their typical schedule on top of that. Plus, you got your family, you got your life outside of work, and trying to juggle all that. Now you have all these contacts. That's got to, be overwhelming, and making sure they're communicating with each other, because one person might be saying one thing, but they're not putting an account for the other type of project. So I love when we first met and you told me about that. And I was like, that is amazing. And it should be mandatory for everybody to have that, because that just has to put everybody at ease and just understand that everything is thought of and it's part of the plan.
And we're all looking at the details. We're all reading the details, and ultimately it's a team effort to make sure that we're able to achieve the client's goals. And ultimately, again, it comes down to time and being able to create what they're looking for and achieve within their budget as well. So we're all working together for the common cause.
I love that. The dream team.
The dream team.
Right?
Absolutely. For sure.
Team. That's right. Well, when it comes, okay, now we have an idea of what the team is. Now we want to start building. What should anyone expect during the build, and what are common misconceptions that you're like, I wish everybody knew this?
Fantastic question. So I always say expect the unexpected, right? So I guess I'm somebody that uses a lot of analogies. So because we are healthcare, a lot of times I'll say, well, take it like a surgery, right? You are somebody who is a professional and you've studied and you've done so many of these different procedures, but each case is different, right? So you get in, and whether it's going to be a build out, going in, depending on, what's in the space, or, different factors. And, when you get into a surgery, it's a lot of preparation, right? And you have to know exactly what you're doing, have a good team around you. It could be messy, it could be stressful, it's all those things. But again, with good communication, we're able to really work through those things and really explain to the client step by step what's going on. So again, at the end of the day, during the surgery, it might not look pretty, but in the very end, you button it up and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful project. And, so everybody's on the same page there. And, as long as everybody knows exactly what those expectations are and the communication is there. The other part that you had mentioned is, I guess misconceptions, right?
Yeah.
That's one thing that I think timing is one of those, because there's so many different things that you think, everything should just kind of fall on schedule. Or if you don't hear anything, what's going on with the project? And again, because we do communicate, we tell you exactly what's going on, but there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes, right? So if building a practice was really simple and easy to do, everybody would do it. So, that's what I always say. So
getting your hands dirty is worth it.
Yeah. So, there's so many different things from city to city, or, jurisdiction or counties. It's all very different. So despite what you hear from one project, it could be totally different from another project, and what is expected with different inspections, or, different timing, and, whether it's supply chain or cost of material. But those are all the things that we help educate the client.
It sounds like there's so many moving parts.
So you don't even know.
I don't know how y'all do it.
Yeah, you don't even know. You don't even know.
You're trying to be nice about it. You're like, just we'll communicate. And that's true.
Absolutely.
Though. Like, it is I feel like it's the one industry that you really can't, you can predict as much as you can. You can give scenarios. But communication is key, because there's probably so many things changing all the time. And you're so reliant on so many third parties, like regulations and the products or equipment. Like, I love the example that you give for having a case of some sort, or like you're treatment planning in a sense, but only you have an outside lab, you have an outside, like all of these, let's say, that's hard, that's complicated. So making sure to
How many times do you hear
be okay with loss of control?
Right. And the thing is, like, how many times do you hear during somebody goes in for a procedure, and they go through that procedure and they go, oh my gosh, I found that, now there's something else that they didn't realize that the doctor finds out. And again, they have to have those trained professionals that are there and able to handle those things. So having a good qualified team that, don't panic, but things happen. And again, being able to communicate exactly what's going on, and just make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Yes. Be ready for changes that might happen. Be okay with it. But especially, that's why it's so important to work with a company that you trust, because that communication is going to come in, and you trust that they're the experts to know that they're going to take care of it. Wow. Yeah. How do you do it, Mike? How do you do it?
I just don't know. I know.
You got to love it. That's what matters.
Absolutely.
When it comes to businesses or practices starting off, if you could advise them anything, what would you tell them? whether it's construction or just having a business startup entirely?
No, I love this question. And I think ultimately it is about the relationships and making sure that you're building trust and good relationships. I think having confidence, there's a reason why you get into this, and you have to have confidence to go forward and have that energy. And you can't be afraid to fail. It's one of those things that things will happen. But again, if you have the right support and communication, everything will come out okay. So I think those are the main things, and following your passion is something, because you never want to second guess what you're doing. But I think if you load yourself up with knowledge, you surround yourself with a good team, and really just expect a lot of hard work and time, and it will definitely pay off.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And that being said too, I kind of like to throw this out because you have a lot of cool projects and a lot of things that you've seen literally from dirt to something glorious. Is there a project that you loved that you were just like, oh my God, this changed my perspective of build? Not to put you on the spot, but is there a really good example of a great project that?
I think ultimately it comes down to the relationship. I know we did a med spa not too long ago in Winter Garden, and just beautiful finishes. Ocean Club Med Spa, you can check it out. And definitely everything from the finishes, everything from just how the project went. Making sure that you're getting the right subcontractors on the job. The client, relationship is huge. So, we're just really setting the right expectation. So that one, comes to mind. But again, all the projects have, a special memories and learning experiences and all that good stuff. But, ultimately, we're here to make sure that we're building, solid relationships and good teams and make them more memorable. For sure.
That's right. You're creating a space literally for them, for their dreams to be lived. So that's incredible and inspiring. I love it. I love it. Well, Mike, thank you so much for talking with me today. I've had the best time, and thank all of you for tuning in.
Same here. Thank you.
Of course. I'm going to have you back. We're going to talk more about examples and everything too. It'll be perfect. If you guys want to learn more about constructing your dream office and have Mike and their team take care of you, go to blackstonebg.com. Or if you're looking into businesses right here in South Florida, give him a call personally at 561-945-6757. Thank you, Mike.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Take care.
You too.